You're a hitman that only kills someone at their most inconvenient moment. At what moment do you strike? Immediately after they've spent 3 hours renewing their driver's license. You just reminded me I need to do that. Online. Hey, at least the police get updated identification for the crime scene. This is exactly how a guy I worked with died, minus the hitman. He was a veteran, and he left work early on Veterans Day to take advantage of a lunch deal at his favorite restaurant with his wife. They narrowly avoided an accident on the freeway while driving to the restaurant. When he turned his head to tell his wife how crazy it was that they were okay, they were rear-ended, and it broke his neck. I think about this situation sometimes, and how good of a guy he was. It just makes me sick. His poor wife. This reminds me of the time a climber fell, and most of his protection slipped out one by one as he was falling, making him fall further and further. Eventually one of the cams, or some other protection, held up. I'd imagine he breathed a heavy sigh of relief. Then the rope snapped. The end. I don't have a clever answer here, but I like the implication that there is a convenient time to be assassinated. At 80 plus age, after living a full life, settling your debts, getting your affairs in order, and having your favorite meal. That's a convenient time to be assassinated. I always wondered why more people didn't get murdered while they're peeing. It almost seems like even in nature, animals just won't stoop that low. I've seen dogs ferociously playing and stop when the other pees. That's actually why dogs often look at you when they pee. It's because they're vulnerable and are making sure you got their back. There's this incredible story about an assassin climbing up a castle poop chute. Toilets on castles were giant columns in the sides of the building, leading straight down to the ground below, and murdering the lord during his business. In traffic, right when their light turns green, everyone behind them will be furious. They'll be dead and causing a bunch of trouble, and it'll take a couple cycles before anyone calls the cops, and then the whole intersection gets closed, creating a traffic jam. When they're at the cash register trying to grab the bag, their wallet, the change, and stuff the bills in the wallet while grabbing the receipt and fretting about the people in line who hate them because they took an extra 5 seconds. Honestly, you're just putting me out of my misery at that moment. Gave me PTSD for when my parents sent me to buy groceries on my own, and I had no real sense of how to handle all those things at once. Thankfully the people around me were super nice and helped the fumbling 10-year-old. When my victim is just one hit away from defeating the final boss of a video game. After losing to said boss multiple times, you become known as the Tony Danza Killer thanks to your final words catchphrase, "Who's the boss?" When they're putting on their underwear after a shower, but their pinky toe got stuck on the hem and they're stumbling trying to get their toe untangled before falling over. This happened to me this morning. Thank God my wife doesn't know how to shoot a gun. Or when they're putting on socks and the little threads inside get caught between their toes. At 6:05 PM, while desperately needing to use the toilet, while waiting for a package that's supposed to be delivered between 6 AM and 6 PM, I would wait for the exact moment they start to wee and then ring the doorbell. No package, only murder. Just as they are about to sneeze. Imagine a ghost whose unfinished business was a sneeze. Amazing. Even got your catchphrase sorted out. The last thing they hear is a whisper in their ear. Bless you, that's smart, because their eyes would be closed too. When they are trying to find a recipe, but the blogger decided to tell their life story, and now there is a pop-up video taking up a quarter of the screen. Reading this made me angry. Might as well just wait for them to die of natural causes while reading the recipe. And the back quote X in the corner is impossible to click, but you keep trying longer than you should. I'm pretty sure there was a king murdered by having a red hot poker shoved up his ass whilst he was wiping it. The attackers had crawled up the latrine passage to be able to do it while they're wiping, but it's one of those times where their finger breaks through the paper and they have poo on their finger. After slipping and consequently dropping their entire family Panda Express meal in the middle of the food court at the local mall. That is when I strike. As an Englishman, I'm so glad I've experienced a Panda Express in an American food hall so that I can fully appreciate this comment. right after someone convinces them to not kill themselves. Don't do it, Johnny. No, you're right. I've got too much to live for, kids and all. I'm gonna finally get a hold on my life. No more smoking alcohol and I'll live for them to have a good dad. Splat. Scrolled deep to find this. I like your style, but what if they haven't nutted in a week? They just found the perfect porn. They're about a minute or two from coming, feeling real good, then the Wi-Fi cuts off. Video stops. They're like, fuck it, time to switch to LTE, I got a nut. Reload the video, get about a minute out from glorious orgasm. Lights come on, see the killer, bang. You know when you eat some food that really doesn't agree with you, like something really spicy? Then you have to go take one of those painful diarrhea dumps where you're praying to God to get you through this, and you'll never eat anything like that again, but you will. That's when I make my move. Disagree. It's times like those I want to die. Wait until just after they start feeling better, thinking about how that was rough, and they're glad it's over, and they really should stay away from the Korean BBQ, then strike. When they're putting together a crib they got from IKEA and just realized the C screws are actually very different from the D screws, so now they have to remove them all from panel G, but they weren't designed to be removed, so the screws are starting to strip, and there aren't enough extra screws to replace them. Actually, at this point I think I'm doing them a favor. I would kill them halfway through an episode of their favorite TV show, right before their pizza rolls finished microwaving. Or wait until the pizza rolls come out and are still temp lava and they're eagerly waiting for them to cool to temp, still way too hot to eat, but I'm going to burn the roof of my mouth anyway. When they're just about to whip out their dick after they find the right porn, until suddenly I come through the door with a Glock about to shoot their laptop, then their cock, and then their head, in that order. Yeah, like keeps shooting at it, each time bouncing along like something out of an old Warner Brothers cartoon, until there's absolutely no chance that anything is capable of being reattached. Then, they walk around and step on each blasted bit and grind it into the floor. The things that keep me up at night. I don't. I take the money and use it to find an apartment close to them, monitoring their every move to where I can force up pseudo-natural interaction and meet them. I then continue the friendship with it slowly blossoming over time and trust gets built up. Then I begin a romantic relationship with them after I have fallen for them myself due to some psychological BS. Then after a long time together I finally reveal to them that I was once hired to kill them and explain to them how I went against my employer and decided I couldn't after falling in love with the shine of their eyes. That night we go to bed in a tight embrace, with them knowing I will never and have never had any intention to kill them. Then I strike. When they are at the grocery store and they tell themselves they don't need a cart, end up carrying a bunch of stuff. They are about to drop something, but they are hanging on to D-life with their pinky. That's when. I've thought about this for a very long while, and I'm certain the answer is someone pooping in their outhouse. All of you are wrong. It's immediately after leg day. You'd be the most successful killer of all time. Maybe not immediately, give it till the following midday-ish when pain is at its peak. Except everyone ships leg day, so you'd never get to kill them. I just realized, while scrolling down this hilarious thread, that there is a high probability that someone was killed at exactly the same moment as specifically described in every one of these situations. Well, just as long as they didn't get the idea to do it from here, we are cool lol. The moment where the victim is on the toilet and that last piece of poop is hanging there, and no matter how much you clench or wiggle, it just won't go. You sit there, wiggling and clenching with the utmost intensity. You are unable to stand up and unwilling to wipe, knowing that you will have a handful of fecal matter. You look up after staring at the tile floor for the last 45 seconds. To notice a gun barrel in your face. Time's up, sucker. When they are about to yawn, maybe even try to get them to yawn by yawning myself, then pew pew. I can imagine you sitting in a chair in the living room and having the target walk in and see you yawning. They look at you like, who are you? But start yawning, and then you strike. I await the target in the bathroom walk-in closet. Based on my observations, the target gets home and immediately goes to the bathroom. I sit in the walk-in closet after I replace the target's toilet paper roll with a roll that is insufficient for an adequate wipe. I sit in the closet across from the cabinet that's used for storage. The target goes to the bathroom. Damn it. He starts the pants down shuffle to the cabinet for more TP. He is hunched and begins to open the door with his pants down in search for more TP. He finds none. Then from across the cabinet in the closet I say, "Looking for this?" as I have a roll of TP on my pistol and aim it at him. I say, "Wipe your anal crevasse with this." Bang. That bittersweet moment of pure ecstasy when you finally unclench your cheeks upon the porcelain throne after many perilous hours of holding it back. Before that sweet release was to be enjoyed is when I'd make my move. Dude, you need to shit more. Just as he's sitting at the kitchen breakfast nook table about to open the biopsy results from his oncologist about the growth he found in his left side armpit, the twist in the back, I show him the negative results as he drifts away. When they are trying to open their car door while holding multiple bags/items in their hands, or when they are trying to only take one trip to bring all the grocery inside the house, so they are holding multiple things in both hands, totally defenseless. When they are trying to put on their underwear and one of their toes catches a leg hole in their underwear and they end up stepping their underwear to the ground while not letting go of said underwear, so they end up in a forced forward bend. Bam. Inconvenient kill time. Repotting a plant. While they're putting the soil into the pot, I strike. They fall over, soil all over their body and the surface they tried to repot. It would be funnier if it was a cactus. Get pricked and it sticks into them as they fall over. When they're at the cash register trying to grab the bag, their wallet, the change, and stuff the bills in the wallet while grabbing the receipt and fretting about the people in line who hate them because they took an extra 5 seconds. You are walking in opposite directions in the street. You both shift to the left. You both apologize. You both shift to the right. You both apologize. You both shift back to the center. You both do that thing where you shimmy your arms to let them know you're trying to let them past. Then you kill them. Absolute understandable. It feels so awkward like for 3 days straight if done right. When you are annoyed because your kid overslept and missed the bus, the dog puked on the carpet, and your fucking purse strap gets caught on the doorknob as you leave the house, he puts you out of your fucking misery. When they are trying to up the zipper on their coat, I have sabotaged the zipper so that it will get stuck. The person would most likely stand still while trying to zip up, or at least slow down. This would gain more time for targeting. You ever see one of those videos where the guy thinks he can make that jump? Like he's going to jump from one post to another, and he biffs it just a little in the post, like shoots right into his crotch, hips, ass, chest, whatever, and it looks like the most painful thing that you could ever imagine. When they have just taken one of those really sticky shits, you know the one I'm talking about. They're wiping their ass repeatedly, and it seems to never come clean. Each swipe looks like they haven't wiped before, then they run out of toilet paper, and they can't quite reach the new roll of toilet paper, then that's where I come in, and bam. They're in a full stadium. Halftime of a championship game. In a mascot uniform with the head off. On one knee. Holding out a ring. Attractive lady running away shaking head in a negative manner. This is the moment I take the shot. The moment they get home from work on Friday, right after they let out that deep breath of relief that they made it home and now have 2 whole days of freedom in front of them, as they kick off their shoes and toss their keys on the counter, turn around to shower and boom. I wait at fast food drive-thrus. I only strike if I see the same cart twice in under 20 minutes, because I know that means the restaurant got the order wrong. I don't strike immediately, though. I wait until the person has waited through the drive-thru line a second time to complain about their order being wrong. It's only when they have pulled up to get their food that I strike, so that they never have the satisfaction of rectifying the grievous error. When they are with a group of friends and they keep trying to speak, but get interrupted each time they thought they had a break in the conversation. Bang, the moment they are going to finally get to say their piece and everyone is paying attention to them. When they have been holding in their pee and banging at the occupied toilet. As I open the door, apologies, watch them fumble inside and wrestle with the belt buckle, and I strike, watching as they simultaneously fail to prevent wetting themselves while realizing they failed to notice me. When they are leaving work and they are trying to fish their keys out of their pocket and it's starting to rain, but they left their only umbrella at their desk and it's Friday evening, but they need their umbrella because it's late and they are gonna have to park on the other side of the lot from their apartment door, and then they drop their keys under the car. That's when I strike by stabbing them with their own umbrella. Now my wife always sneezes like 10 to 15 times in a row, and that takes a while, so she can't hear anything and gets really mad if people keep talking while she's sneezing. So, at least for her, it would be during that sneeze time, but the murderer would have told her something while she was sneezing, and she will never know. My target is at Target, buys a few things, nothing too big or pricey, but a handful of items. They load up their cart and head to checkout. They purchase their items and head home. As they pull into their garage, I slip in unnoticed. As they reach into the back of the car to grab their items, they hesitate. I think my cover is blown, but manage to keep my composure. It is soon apparent that they were just contemplating on if they wanted to take the groceries into easy trips or go for broke and power through holding all their bags and only make one trip. You can always rely on a person's laziness. They grab their bags, hands almost overflowing. Bad move. As they walk to their door, they are met a near impassable obstacle. The door itself. All they needed was one hand to turn the knob and presto, the gig's up. But they had no hand to give, as they struggled to use friction on any part of their body to desperately turn the knob, refusing to put down their delicate balance of goods. I strike. My process takes a long time, but it is well worth it in the end. First I stalk the contract to their home and wait for them to fall asleep. I then spend the next few weeks doing this, analyzing their sleep patterns and the best time to strike. Using fancy mathematical equations and data from my observations, I find out the exact moment the target will have a full dream, as soon as they wake to realize they weren't actually falling. Boom. Hammer. If it's a dude, that moment, right before he jizzes while jerking off. A couple of things happen at that point that make men not give a shit about what's happening around them, and their ability to make sound decisions is complete trash. For a woman, I honestly don't know what the equivalent would be where they are completely helpless and oblivious. Feel free to chime in. I wait until their call has finally been answered by their airline's customer service. After their calls on previous days have been disconnected as they were still on hold when the customer service center closed at 5 PM sharp, or been transferred to the wrong department, or they've had to hang up on hold after waiting an hour because their child has just proceeded to strip off a full nappy and start painting the wall in their own personal color scheme. On the day I strike, they've properly prepared. They have built a nest of snacks and baby supplies and dialed the last number of the obscenely long customer service line on the first second after the lines opened at 7 AM. They have waited all day listening to the same 45-second loop of hold music played over and over again, occasionally broken by a recorded voice telling them that their call is important, that the center is handling unprecedented call volumes, and that most problems can be solved by accessing their self-help function on the airline's website. It is now 4:59 PM. The center closes at 5 PM. And my victim just heard the click as their call dropped out of the queue and into a customer service rep's headset. My time to strike had come. Wait until they are married with kids, and then kill them on a day when their in-laws are coming to visit, but their spouse is at work, so it falls to them to make all the arrangements round the house, and then their mother-in-law calls to inform them that their father-in-law can't process dairy anymore, so they expect all foods to be dairy-free for their stay. In the meantime, their kid is following them round saying, "Parent, I want a grilled cheese." And just as the kid says that, the target notices the boiler has broken, and so there's no hot water or heating in the house. And then the doorbell goes, and it's their next door neighbor with dementia coming round to ask for his spanners that were never borrowed in the first place back. That's the moment they die. As they're putting away their stationery after completing their college finals, they hear a beeping sound, but their phone is off. Curiously, it's the pen that seems to be beeping, and as they hold it up to their face for closer inspection, their calculator shoots a poison dart into their arm. Remember when that feeling you get when you wake up somewhere and forget everything for a moment? Maybe if I kill him at that time his ghost will roam the place he woke up wondering what the hell he's doing. I'll just be killing a random guy that became a target. IDK. But it sounded better in my head. 3 AM. I very quietly lean down and gently wake them. Hi, sweetie, wake up. Sorry, but I'm going to have to kill you. Or, just after a traffic jam has broken up and they're finally driving along again on their way home. Right as they are about to speed up in the car, because they are finally out of a 3-hour traffic jam. Not only is this inconvenient for my target, but now continues the traffic jam for all. Let's see an ambulance get to them. Holy shit, that's genius. I'd stalk them, making random bad things happen until the weather cooperates, and the "it can't get any worse than this suddenly starts raining" movie trope happens. Then once they've had about 30 seconds to process this, I'd run up and stab them. Their B-day, shoot that MF in the head, so he fall in the cake, so the annoying cunt that thinks slamming someone into the cake is funny stops. You made me remember when my crazy ex did the cake to the face thing with his brother and they ended up in a fist fight, and I got the hose out on them like a couple dogs. There are a lot of variables. Do they sleep light? Do they live alone? Their profession? Can they kill? How heavily they are armed? Do they have security guards? Do they security systems? On top of that, it also depends what and how much time, weapons, vehicles, and munitions I have at my disposal. But if I were to guess, I would probably do it when they would be asleep or in the bathroom. Not when they are taking a shit or taking a shower, but when they are opening a package that I put on their doorstep. A dildo was in the box. I shove the murder weapon up their ass along with the dildo from the box. Then I put the body on the couch, fully nude, and put sunglasses on him, so the police think he is just weird at first, then realize that he is dead.